Hi, Timothy Carlson here. Not long ago, I reviewed the Nightmare on Elm Street 4K box set, and today I'm going to be ranking all 9 of the Nightmare on Elm Street films. I'm not going to waste time with a lengthy introduction, I'm just going to get right down to business. At the bottom of the list at number 9, I have Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. At this point, you could tell this series was gasping for air. It goes for a sort of post-apocalyptic thing which absolutely does not work. And the more you reveal about a villain, the less compelling he becomes. At number 8 on the list, I have Freddy vs. Jason. The showdown between these two horror icons is, of course, the stuff of legend. Unfortunately, the movie tries to put in a little too much story before we get down to the fun stuff, and a lot of it just feels kind of generic and by the book, especially when we compare it to earlier installments in these two franchises. When the two square off, it's quite fun, but I don't think Freddy really gets enough to do. This is almost more of a Jason movie than a Freddy movie. That said, though, when the two duke it out, you can't help but have a smile on your face. At number 7, I have the remake of A Nightmare on Elm Street. This movie just simply does not have enough original ideas, and it feels like a pretty blatant rehash of the original. But that said, it is fairly well acted, and there are some great sequences to be had here. Jackie Earle Haley actually does a pretty solid job playing Freddy Krueger. I mean, no one will ever top Robert Englund in my book, but he does a respectable job here, and while it's certainly not one of the better films in this series, it's not the horrible remake everyone says it is either. At number 6, I have A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. This movie is one of the odd men out in the franchise. You don't even have a final girl this time around, you have a final boy. And this movie has become infamous over the years for its supposed homoerotic tendencies. Likewise, the movie does stumble a bit when it tries to bring Freddy into the real world, a character who's infamous for attacking people in their dreams. A bit of a misstep. Luckily, the series would course correct with its next installment. This one's not a personal favorite, but I do have something of a soft spot for it despite its flaws. At number 5, I have A Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child. This time around, Freddy tries to come back to the scene by infiltrating the dreams of an unborn child. This is something of an interesting plot twist, but at this point you could also tell the series was sort of gasping for air, with Freddy becoming a slightly more campy, laughable villain instead of the eerie, demonic killer he was in the very first movie. At number 4 on the list, I have A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. The follow-up to the third film, this one unfortunately kills off a lot of characters from that movie early on, but does give us a new and interesting, capable heroine. There are some great moments to be had here. I would say this is certainly in the upper half when it comes to the series. Plus, there's a song in this movie by one of my all-time favorite 80s metal bands, the Vinnie Vincent Invasion. At number 3 on the list, I have Wes Craven's New Nightmare. This movie tried something completely different, having Robert Englund and Heather Langenkamp play versions of their real-life selves, but they become attacked by supernatural forces that stem from the creation of a movie that Wes is making. Totally original and somewhat goofy idea, but I'd actually easily rank this in the upper tier of the series. It's one of the real pleasant surprises to be had here. Number 2 on the list, I have A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors. After the slight misstep of the second film, this one brings back Heather Langenkamp, and it has a great supporting cast as well, including the likes of a very young Lawrence Fishburne. Robert Englund's at his all-time best here, and this is when he first started making some of the more goofy wisecracks, but not to the point where the character had become ridiculously campy and over the top. There's a nice balance between the two extremes here. There are some great moments here, and who could possibly forget that theme song by Dokken? And the all-time best film in this series, and there's really only one right answer to this question, A Nightmare on Elm Street, the original 1984 film. Wes Craven really came onto the scene in the 80s here. He had some great triumphs back in the 70s as well, but this was the movie that forever cemented him in the annals of slasher horror history. Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger from day one became one of the all-time cinematic villains, one we remember to this day. So many memorable classic moments in this, and a great supporting cast as well, including the likes of John Saxon, and in his first ever feature film role, Johnny Depp as one of Freddy's victims. One of the all-time greatest slashers, and one I will never get tired of watching. And there you have it. What do you think the best Nightmare on Elm Street film is? What do you think the worst is? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel for more content. I'm always posting new videos, and make sure you give this one a like if you found it helpful. I'm Timothy Carlson. See you next time.